Welcome back. Ollie here with a loaf of bread fresh out of the oven for you. Today's loaf comes from Robert Anton Wilson. And this is a doozy, my friends. He says, "When the student is ready, the master appears." Do you know why that is true? The door opens inward. The master is everywhere. But the student has to open her mind to hear the master's voice. I don't think that there's anything mystical or weird about it. I think personally that the great master is life, or the universe, if you want to look at it that way. And in this sense, the master really is everywhere. But until the student opens that door, that inward-facing door, the student remains deaf to the master's teachings. So to give you an example, before I opened my mind, I actually believed that there was such a thing as a failure or a loss. Now, I regard all of those types of situations as lessons. There are no failures. There's just learning experiences. And the best way to learn is by smashing your head against the wall, by not getting the desired results and going back to the drawing board. So you see, a failure is not actually a failure unless you fail to learn the lesson contained within it. So there's an example of the master trying to teach all of us lessons. But if you're anything like I was, you might be a little hard of hearing. So that's why it's important to go within and find the door that Robert Anton Wilson is referring to in this particular passage. Where's the door? What is the door? Where does it lead to? These are all excellent questions, and questions that I have no answers for. The door is symbolic. It's a metaphor. There is no literal door anywhere in your brain or even in your psyche. It's a metaphor for opening your mind to greater possibilities. Opening your mind to reality as it is and shutting down all of those stupid labels that your brain keeps throwing at you and saying, "Oh, you failed. Oh, man, that sucks. You wanted this and you got that instead. Man." If you shut that down, if you close that door and open the other door, then you can start to see things in a more neutral or detached way. And when you regard the world in this way, you will find lessons where before you thought was only injustice or tragedy or misfortune or whatever. It's all within you. And that's where the master is too, by the way. I mean, if the master is everywhere, it means that the master is in you as well. And so what your heart tells you, what your mind tells you, these might not be factually true, they might not be accurate, but they're all part of the lessons that the master is trying to teach each and every single one of us. Because our reactions can tell us a lot about who we are as people, especially our knee-jerk reactions, the types of reactions that happen without our consent, especially our extreme reactions, when we fly off the handle, go off the rails, find that we're suddenly enraged about something. Well, that's a lesson. It's exactly like the Rumi passage I read a few videos ago. This being human is a guest house. He says, treat each guest honorably because each one has been sent as a messenger from beyond. Well, you could say a messenger from beyond, or you could say a messenger from the great master. It would be the same thing. The universe is trying to teach you something. Life is trying to teach you something. And until you open your mind, go through the door, and learn those lessons, you're going to continue repeating them ad nauseum, over and over and over again. And you may find yourself wondering, why does this always happen to me? Why? Why am I always the victim of such rotten luck? This kind of victim mentality is what results. Because you think that life is treating you badly, but really, you just keep taking the same exam and failing it over and over again. You get to choose how you look at life. You get to choose how you interpret events, how you contextualize circumstances. So choose to contextualize them as lessons. Stop taking the same exam over and over again. Learn the lesson, pass the test, move on to the next one. Because your entire life is a series of these types of tests, and there is no end in sight. And in fact, you don't want it to end, so just keep taking the exams and be happy that you can. At least that's how I look at it. All right, my friends, live well.